Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bad Comic Review. Let's look at Hardware Issue 3. Now, this is picking up where we left off, with Hardware deciding to confront Alva. Now, this is written by Dwayne McDuffie, pencils by Dennis Cohen, Jimmy Palminetti, inker, Noel Giddings, colorist, Steve Haney, letterer. Alright, so, it starts out with this scene where Hardware goes in all armed up and gets in a fight with some security guards, mows a bunch of them down, goes up and executes Alva. Now, of course, this is not what actually is happening. This is his fantasy version of it. So he goes to see his lady friend at her house, basically breaks in her house, and he's sitting there in his armor for some stupid reason and tries to talk with her, tries to get permission from her to do what he's doing. She tells him, your dad would be ashamed of you. And it turns out his dad was a cop. She says, what will killing Alva accomplish? What do you want to accomplish? And he says, what should I do? And she says, you're the genius, you figure it out. She basically is chiding him for all the killing that he's been doing. So he goes to Alva's building, tries to disrupt the security feeds and everything, forces his way in, but some guards attack him. He launches a net, a neural discharge net, that's supposed to knock them all down. Then he gets out his plasma whip and attacks some other guys. And a bunch more guys shows up, and then we cut to a little ways ahead, and there's some security guard picking himself up. Alva's there, and they talk briefly, and, tells the guy to sweep it under the rug, effectively. Then Alva makes his way to his office, where Hardware is sitting and waiting for him. Hardware tells him, hey, I'm going to dismantle your organization, whereas Alva tries to bribe him. Now, Hardware gives him a backhand after an attempt at a triple bribe, which is a pretty big bribe. And Hardware explains that he's got his personal records, he's downloaded his computer, and he's going to dismantle his organization piece by piece until Alva's on the street. It's a really cool speech, actually. Oh, you have to read this one. This is a good issue just for that speech. It's page 23. Just the speech on page 23 makes it worth reading the issue. But then Hardware takes off after breaking Alva's leg, and Alva radios for someone to activate, and it's a big dude in a huge armor, and he says that Hardware's a dead man, and that's where the issue ends. Now, this issue is actually really good. I was really impressed with it. There's some moral conflict internally with Hardware and the lady friend Baraki, I can't pronounce her name. She is kind of the moral compass for him, telling him that killing's wrong, that he should be ashamed of himself for all the dead people that he's been littering the streets with. Yeah, she kind of gets him to dial it back a little bit to not killing people quite as frequently, I guess. But he does use his plasma whip on some guys. I don't know if he killed them or not. Probably. I assume there's some dead ones. The confrontation with Alva is really good. So this one really showcases Dwayne McDuffie's talent as a writer. Dennis Cohen's, I'm still not a huge fan of his art, but it does look really cool in parts. It's just I don't particularly like the style all that much, but it's not bad. It's definitely better than a lot of it I've seen. There's a lot more talent here than some of the other books I've looked at. So yeah, overall a great issue that definitely should be read if you're going to read any of the Milestone books, or if you're sifting through a 50-cent or dollar bin, definitely grab this one up. Hardware issue 3 is the best one of the series so far, and definitely one of the more interesting issues from that time period that I've read at any time recently. That'll do it for this one. I thought this was a great issue, very solid. Definitely the best one of Hardware, and probably of a lot of the Milestone books, this one would stand out as one of my favorites. So I recommend picking this one up if you're looking for a good read, and hopefully issue 4 will continue this winning streak, but we'll find out next time. Thank you all for listening, and hopefully we'll see you on the next episode.